be healthy.
Yes.
All right, so what you got for us today?
Okay, so this morning we're going to be talking about sickle cell disease. I actually do have the sickle cell trait, so it was something that I was interested in talking about and sharing with you all. So we have two ladies here with us this morning from the Sickle Cell Foundation. We have Miss Stallworth and Miss Roberts. And ladies, you want to introduce yourselves and tell us just a little bit about what you do with the Sickle Cell Foundation?
Oh, I'm Claudette Stallworth at the Foundation. I am a newborn screening counselor. I counsel parents of newborns who have sickle cell trait and hemoglobin C trait.
Okay, cool.
And my name is Paula Roberts. I'm actually the office manager, so I wear many hats, and which includes sometimes going out and educating on sickle cell disease.
Well, there you go. So first, we just want to talk a little bit about exactly what sickle cell disease is, and I can start, and you guys can jump in wherever that you feel is necessary. I know that it's a group of inherited red blood cell disorders, and the one that's most popular, obviously, that everyone knows is the sickle cell anemia. Right, that's the one that everyone is more familiar with, and it really speaks to the visual that you brought for us, which is great. The regular shape of a red blood cell is going to be more of a disc shape, kind of like a frisbee or a donut, but without the hole missing. And that's going to carry oxygen throughout your body. But with sickle cell, you have the shape is different. It's smaller, kind of like a C, and those cells are then sticky. They're not able to carry the same amount of oxygen. And so that creates all kinds of issues, one, just for you not getting oxygen to the parts of your body that you need. Also, the red blood cells, those sickled cells are more likely to die, so you have a shortage of the red blood cells that you need. And then another issue as well is that people typically get pain, from those blood vessels being blocked, and not just having regular blood flow and oxygen flow throughout your body that you would have in a healthy body that doesn't have the sickle cell anemia.
Yes, that's exactly correct. You have round red blood cells, and then you'll have those sickle shaped.
Right,
and
right.
As they travel down the blood vessels, you will often get to the point where they will begin to jam, which will cause the crisis.
The pain crisis.
And that's what it's called, the pain crisis. And yes, the sickled celled blood cells, they don't have their life. They don't have the same lifespan as the round blood cells.
Right. Which is, like I said, causes a variety of issues. And so you had mentioned very briefly the HBSC is what it's called. You said you did the screening for just for sickle cell disease with the newborns. And what was the second one that you said with C, if people are not familiar with, will you mention or explain what that is?
Yeah, hemoglobin C is another trait that I counsel on. And this is where the cells, instead of they are round, however, they have a target shape, something like we throw dots at. And we don't know why. That's what we call the hemoglobin C. C stands for change in the hemoglobin type. We don't know why that change occurred. However, they function like a normal red blood cell in the body.
Okay, so they don't have the same symptoms that people would.
They don't have any symptoms.
Any symptoms at all.
Just like the sickle cell trait at the time when you don't have symptoms at the time, you never.
Okay. And then can you explain a little bit about what it means to have the trait?
Having the trait means you are a carrier, means you were born with it, you had to have inherited from either your mother or your father, and it is asymptomatic at the time. The only way a lot of my parents find out when they come in to find out their child result is which parent has it. Do I have it or do my husband have it? Nobody really knows unless you take the test, because on the ordinary day-to-day living, a person with sickle cell trait does not experience problems.
Right.
However, if they go above 8,000 feet, like mountain climbing, small private airplanes, or deep sea diving, they may experience pain because of the loss of oxygen. But once you're back down to ground level, taking in enough oxygen, your cells almost remain brown.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying that typically, are all newborns tested for sickle cell?
All newborns since 1988 tested in the state of Alabama, no matter what race, creed, or color.
And let's just speak on that. That's something that the Sickle Cell Foundation, the National Sickle Cell Foundation, and all foundations around the country fought for. It took them 10 years in order for them to have that test included in just the global testing when the babies were born. The one thing that they did realize is that early detection
Yes.
actually aided in them being able to go ahead and start treatment early, which would then, prolong life, and in addition, help minimize crises sooner in their lives.
Right, and so the test that is done for the newborns is just a simple blood test?
Yes, there are a battery of tests.
Okay.
So there's a range of tests that they're given, that a newborn is given when they're born. And that's just one of the things that's included in that newborn test.
It's a hemoglobinopathy test.
Hemoglobinopathy.
Hemoglobinopathy.
I'm proud of you, homie, for getting that. That was impressive.
It's, of course, helping the family sending the Sickle Cell Foundation, Central Alabama chapter. I like y'all shirts.
I know they're cool. We need some like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just really interesting that more people are not aware of it, especially because it directly affects and predominantly affects the Black community. And I know there's been a little bit of speculation and theory on why that is, but do we really know why it affects the Black community more so than other communities?
Well, it was originated in Africa, and because of Africa being Black, that's why they specifically targeted the Black people. However, Greeks, Italians, Sicilians, Turks, East Indians can also have sickle cell trait and sickle cell disease. And as far as now, since the newborn screening program, I have a lot of Mexican as well as white clients coming in for counseling. Their children have sickle cell trait, and both parents sometimes are white, and both parents sometimes are Hispanic. So it is in other races, but before this, they were only targeting Blacks, but now that we're targeting all races, we're finding
more cases.
Right. I think that that makes sense, and I read a little bit about possibly being related to countries where malaria was prevalent, because having the trait gives you some immunity to malaria. And I know, like, my mom is from Guyana in South America, and I know malaria is prevalent there. So I think that's a possibility as well. We know that the body kind of adapts and evolves to situations that it exists in, and I think this could have been a survival trait that provides some other issues.
Right. And so if malaria comes back, those with the sickle cell trait will outlive us.
Right. But those of us who have sickle cell, who have the disease, will have other issues. In my family, it's pretty prevalent as well. I have two cousins. One who's actually passed away from it, from the full-blown disease, and another cousin who's still living with it. So that's it's very difficult. She's in and out of the hospital regularly. And I actually have a friend, I hope that he's able to call in, that his daughter has the disease. Both parents have the trait. And they have 3 kids. 3 kids. And so it's, interesting how you can have different children in the family, because, it's just that it's a 1 in 4, right, that 1 in 4 chance that the child is going to get it, even if you both have.
Pregnancy.
Right.
So both parents can trait, but it may not be passed on.
Right. It's a 25% chance sickle cell anemia. However, there's a 75% chance that the child will not have the disease. 25% normal, 50% sickle cell trait.
Wow.
Yes.
So you can have a trait and live a normal life, never know you have
Not
the
even
trait.
know you have it. A lot of parents don't find out they have the trait until after they have a baby.
And the baby tested.
Contributor Will was telling us, I didn't know this, he shared it with us right before the ladies came in, and he was like, I was in the Army doing basic training, and we was doing some kind of push, what did he say, laps or whatever they was doing.
Right, some kind of exercise.
And they pulled him out of line and said, hey, you got some water? You been drinking a lot of water? And he was like, what are you talking about? I'm drinking like everybody else been drinking water. It's like, no, you got to drink more water.
Yes.
We got to watch you. And he was like, what's going on? He was like, you got the sickle cell trait. And he didn't know it. He was in the Army.
That happened with my brother as well in college. He's an athlete. They gave them the battery of tests.
Yes, I had to test all of my students this year.
All the miles?
Every year. I missed last year, but I tested, I think almost 200 of them this year.
So that's the question. I know you mentioned before 1988, it wasn't tested. So those that are born before 88, do you need to go get tested? How does that work?
They're adults now, so.
It doesn't matter?
If you were if you were living with the disease, but now you would know.
Oh, okay.
But there are still people, I've only been with the foundation 5 years, but there are still people in their 30s that are coming up to the foundation just now finding out that they have a form of sickle cell disease.
Mm.
Right, but that's crazy to think about. Like I know for me, I want to have kids, and I think about how do you go about coaching people who you said most of the parents that come to you find out after they've had the baby, right? What about couples who know they have the trait?
But now through prenatal care, they're testing the mothers, and they are sending fathers over to the office to be tested. I do the testing.
Okay.
And we take our samples over to Children's Hospital who run the complete test for us. They give us the results.
But you mentioned something good in regards to having the trait. That's one of the things that our purpose is to help identify those that have the trait. And if they do have the trait, we want to educate you of what the outcome could be.
Right.
So, it's going to be your choice, but you need to know that you have the trait. You need to know who you're mating with
Right.
if they do or do not have the trait, and what that outcome could possibly be.
That's really crazy. So when you come to the Sickle Cell Foundation, you can come there to get tested.
Yeah, the test is free.
And the test is free. That's what I was going to
It's
ask.
just a finger stick. It's a finger stick. And that's
A
it.
finger stick. So you prick my finger.
Finger.
You gonna prick my little finger?
I think you can handle that. Yep. Yes, I pick you, Bartholomew.
Why do you go all the way around me?
I don't know, I'm just used
He likes to
standing
be
over
like
here.
me.
Yeah, she sharp day. But no, I want to ask a question. With the sickle cell trait, could your diet play a role in how bad it can
You
affect
was
you
gonna ask this.
throughout, the process with it? Could your diet affect whether it's real bad or not?
What you eat is what you basically asking. How
Well,
you eat.
No, he was asking about the trait. No, that wouldn't happen.
Well, I mean, not the trait, I'm
The
sorry.
actual-
But like the actual
Disease?
disease itself. Because
Well,
I know a lot
of
of times your diet can affect how things affect.
We are not medical professionals, but there is one doctor that's local. He's a hematologist as well as being a nutritionist, and he does believe that there's some type of correlation. And then, really, if you even think about it, people who have clots, and this is just something that I've learned of late. I have a relative that's now recovering from a clot. And you think about, vegetables and, and they have that vitamin K, which is a clotting factor. So there's a lot probably to that. That's just not something that we really know about or can really get into. But I think diet has something to do with any and all things really in life.
Yeah, I think the healthier that you are, which your diet is going to affect, I think the better that your body is going to be able to tackle or deal with any issues that it's presented with. And so, having a better diet is not going to prevent you from having the disease or from passing the disease on, obviously because it's a blood disorder, but it may help your body's ability to deal with the issues that it's facing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's the best way that we can look at it in terms of educating yourself on on diet and exercise.
Going back to the water, that's absolutely necessary. That's one of the things that when she counsels, she will encourage those with the trait to make sure you keep a lot of fluid, in your diet, because that matters. But all of us need water,
Right.
But they particularly need it a little bit more than those without the trait or disease.
There you go. I feel like you have a question bubbling out of you.
No. I'm just.
You're learning.
I'm taking it all in because honestly, I hear sickle cell. I know it's in the black community, but I didn't know, how hereditary. I didn't understand the difference between the trait and the actual disease. I've heard of those. That's why I'm just listening. I'm just like taking it all in.
Well, the one thing that I talk about is, know your status.
Okay.
Because we have over 100,000 people in America with the disease, and that's just America. That's not to talk about other countries. We have over 500,000 with the trait. So just logically thinking, what are the possibilities and capabilities of that? You understand?
Yeah.
And as we go across, our borders, mating in different countries, just think about the possibilities. On if you're not educated, and not knowing, who you're mating with, just the possibilities of what you're producing. Now you're gonna love your baby no matter what, you know, and we never discourage, you know, anybody maybe, you know, with the trait, but just have the knowledge of knowing, you know, what you can possibly encounter.
Do you all provide counseling as well for people who do have a child with sickle cell and are going through, you know, the difficulties of treatment and I guess trying to figure out that process? I know it can be very difficult going in and out of the hospital and with the pain crises and all of that. Do you guys provide counseling for that as well, or is it specifically for finding out about having the disease?
That would be our social worker who would talk to them.
Okay.
And mostly over at Children's Hospital.
Okay, so the hospital
so we
provides
do have a sickle cell clinic over there for children.
Okay.
And we do have one in Kirkland for adults.
Are any of those services
that we raised $1 million for to open up?
Well, there you go. You better. You better.
And that's interesting because before they raised $1 million to actually create the clinic, our adult clients were having to be treated at Children's Hospital. So can you imagine somebody in pain, you know, you're 30, 40 years old, and you're hurting, and you have to be at a Children's Hospital. And so this clinic has only been in existence, I think, for maybe about 11 years, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I think that's really interesting because often we forget about how much emotional and psychological impacts there are to having any kind of disease, and especially something that involves pain and just going to get treatment. A lot of people don't go and get treatment even when they're in pain just because of the experience of having to go to the doctor, go to the hospital. So that adds another layer for you having to be an adult going to, you know, a children's hospital, and just the setting that you're able to receive help makes a difference in terms of whether or not people will actually go. So, you know, I did health behavior. I had my master's in public health and specifically health behavior, and we talked a lot about reasons or barriers why people wouldn't seek treatment or, you know, do whatever it was that was necessary for them to be healthy. And we have to understand what the individual who is sick is going through, you know, and you want to create the best environment for that person to receive the treatment, to get the knowledge, to feel comfortable. You know, if parents are coming to you to find out what the possibilities are, they don't want to be uncomfortable. They're already scared. Right. You know, you have to create an environment that makes people want to come to you and feel comfortable while they're there about something that's already scary.
Well, and there's one thing right now that's going on in our, you know, in our American community, and that's the whole opioid crisis. And unfortunately, you know, our clients are labeled as drug seekers when this is something. This is a disease that really has to be managed by use of opioids. Yeah. And you can't predict how severe the pain is going to be or when it's going to come. You know, most of our clients will tell us that they do not know a day without pain.
That's crazy.
Not a day.
That's a really
so that's like compound. Now that you with this crises of opioids, you need it for treatment because you're in pain, but you're being labeled as something entirely different.
Yes. That's really crazy. And, you know, already because of who is predominantly affected by this disease, there's going to be some stigma associated with it. Right. Anyways, we know how that is within our community. So, I mean, I hadn't even thought about the implications of the opioid usage and how that has, you know, how people look at that nowadays. People look at you using pain medication. There's already stigma associated with that, even if you're using it correctly and you need it. We've kind of gotten to that place where we just assume nobody needs it, everyone's overusing it or misusing it. And so that's really interesting to think about. Do you ladies have anything else that you want to share with us?
Well, just one of the other things that I was thinking about too is the whole, you know, our children even are very susceptible to stroke. You know, and that's that people, you know, don't realize all the different things that can occur with clients that have the disease.
Right.
You know, you have children as young as, you have one client 9 years old, and he's going through maybe possibly having had a hip replacement. And you're thinking that these are things that are just for old.
Right.
But those are some of the things that our clients have to endure and face on a daily basis.
That's so scary.
Oh, I was going to talk about the life expectancy. A lot of, back in the 70s, they're 16, 20, but now our life expectancy, matter of fact, we just had a client who passed here in Alabama, was 71 years old, and one in Gaston, 88.
Oh, wow.
So the life expectancy is much
higher.
longer now because of the extensive research that's being done.
Okay.
Well, that's great. So, and on a positive note,
Yes. I like that.
people are living longer, so you have the opportunity to arm yourself with knowledge. That's what I always say. Make sure that you are educated, you know your status, so that you can make the best decisions that you can with the resources that you have available. And know that you do have an opportunity. It's not a death sentence, as people may have thought before. So you definitely want to just do your best to stay positive, get the information that you need, and use the resources that are already available.
Lovely. Thank you.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No. I was gonna say we was gonna end on a positive note anyway, because they brought gifts. That's why we ended on a positive note.
I know, they're so excited.
Man.
But thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. It was really important to me to talk about this today, so I'm happy that we had, some informed guests who could bring this knowledge, and I know you ladies were nervous, but you did a great job.
Yeah, y'all did an excellent job.
Thank you for inviting us. This is so necessary for our community to know about the disease. There's only 6 of us at the foundation.
Really?
And so when you think about 6 people trying to educate the masses, that's just a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we really appreciate the platform and the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Is there any more information someone might be writing and maybe caught the tail end of this conversation with the Sickle Cell Foundation that you want to give a number out, or email, Facebook page, anything you want to share?
We are located in Ensley, off of Avenue I. Our address is 3813 Avenue I. Our phone number is 205-780-2355. We're open 5 days a week, and then some, because Claudette is always out doing health fairs.
Okay.
So, yes, so and we appreciate her for that too. But so, if you want to give us a call, you want to find out more information, then yes, most definitely you're welcome to do so.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, for coming through and sharing that great information with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim, for bringing that to us.
Absolutely.
Bring the ladies that brought gifts.
Absolutely.
Can't get over that. Thank you so much. And by the way, y'all are now official members of the Home Team Morning Show. So whenever you got some news you would like to share, come through us, come see us, write us, email, whatever. Take a picture. Just let us know what it is, and we'll definitely get it out.
Definitely.
And you are also a part of our home team as well. Anytime we have an opportunity to exchange, we adopt you into the family.
Okay.
So we now challenge and pass the baton for you to put the word out.
Okay.
And help us educate others. One last point, I forgot, we are the first state in the nation to actually have a specialized car tag.
Okay, license plate tag for future sickle cell aware. That's hot. That's a nice tag.
I need to get one.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
It's
tag.
got a lot of red on it.
So I brought this so that you can kind of see what it are. We all at the foundation have sickle cell tags.
Okay.
That's really cool.
And just like any other cause, you're getting money without having to really have to work. And we absolutely, need money to be able to hire more people, to be out in the community, and as well as to assist our clients, because a great many of our clients are indigent because they can't work.
Right.
Those are the things that you really don't think about, or they're challenged in their abilities to work. So sometimes we have to step in to assist them in many ways.
That's what's up. Man, it's great.
Thank you. So I'm going to get
Alabama's
one.
the first one to do that.
I'm going to get one.
That's what's up.
My car is red. I got to get one for sure.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Go
Alright,
There we go.
Thank you so much, ladies, for coming through again. Thank you so much. All right, we got more music coming up. Straight up 9 o'clock. Of course, it's that by Sade Slim. Plus, we got to give away these Magic City Festival tickets and classic game. It's all the way. It's the Home Team Morning Show live on B94 Design.
Thank you to everyone that tuned in. Pastor Eric said to tell Ms. Paula that Pastor Eric said hello.
Okay.
And who else did I have to say? Thank you to Nation Finest for listening to our show. We appreciate you.